There's only one voice of Townview.
What's up? This is The Weeknd.
I'm Travis Scott.
This is Drizzy.
Trust me, at the top it isn't lonely.
Power is power. Fire never goes out.
Yeah, still going bad on you anyway.
24/7.
I am LMA.
Burn it down.
KSBM Radio.
Hey guys, this is Global and Local News. I'm Oz and I'm joined here with
Mr. Penguin.
And Billy. And today, like Oz said, we're going to be talking about global news. And to start it off, we're going to start off with the most recent, and well-known news, which is the Russian and Ukraine conflict that there is. And just, some little facts of what's going on. So this happened, this month, February. It all started going down when, Russia started putting around 100,000 troops around the border of Ukraine, eastern Ukraine. And, Putin was like, you know what? No, we're not going to invade y'all. It's just for protection. But, who's going to believe that? He's kind of crazy, in my opinion.
He's a dictator.
Yeah. So the Ukrainian president, what's his name? Zelensky. He was like, you know what? We're not going to fall for this. So they stayed alert. And just recently, this week, they were attacked by the Russians.
Putin announced his attack too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he announced that attack, everything started going down in Ukraine.
Yep.
They were sending missiles. Weren't they also sending tanks closer to the border?
Yeah, but that's crazy that as soon as Putin said that, the shooting started to break out.
Yep.
I don't feel like it was that crazy because you can really pass anything by him. If he does this, I believe that.
Yeah.
Because of the way he acts and the way the things he's done in the past,
mm-hmm.
I feel like it wasn't really a surprise because it's just basically go do it.
Yeah, they were just waiting. They were just waiting for the go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just basically what Putin wants to gain from all of this is just more power. He doesn't really want to take Ukraine's land. He just wants to have power, and he wants to recreate, in a sense, the Soviet Union.
Uh-huh.
And Ukraine is just another step to starting this Soviet Union, and he wants to expand with the Eastern Europe countries and potentially bring back the old Soviet Union.
So it's not really about the land that Ukraine has or
he just wants
expanding
power.
The land that Russia owns.
Yeah, and the thing is that people think that we're gonna go to war with Russia and Ukraine, but we're not going to war right now.
Well, don't you think it depends on the way
depends
that
what Putin
USA
does.
Yeah, because what's happening right now is Ukraine is on its own right now.
Ukraine is on its own.
They're fighting against Russia on their own. They've actually held their own too.
It's crazy to think that Russia had to ask Belarus, another country, for help. They asked help for help.
Is it because it's closer to Ukraine, another side
It's
of Ukraine?
It's closer, and because apparently Ukraine is fighting back really good.
Ukraine is actually.
Just put it this way: their own president is fighting back.
Yeah, instead of sitting back and watching it all unfold, he's also on the lines too. No,
he had the opportunity to
leave.
I think even President Joe Biden said that we could pick you up, but he's like no, and there's pictures of him with his vest,
his military stuff,
and he's fighting.
Yeah,
that's a true president.
That's
standing
a true
for his
president.
country and staying there with
crazy.
the people.
Yeah.
A funny thing is that when he wasn't president yet, he would act like he was a president, and people said you would make a good president, and he just ran for it, and he's been a very good president.
You don't see a lot of presidents standing for their country like that, because if
most of them are just giving orders.
Yeah. Or
and
they go
sitting
into
from
hiding.
an office. Yeah, or go into hiding to protect themselves. But he's actually fighting.
Yeah, and what's it called? This is it's crazy because even there's this soccer team called the Dynamo of Kiev.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Dynamo Kiev, instead of their players fleeing,
they're helping
to safety. There's a picture of them in this was really interesting scene. There was a picture of them in their soccer uniforms, and then a picture of them in their military uniforms.
Whoa.
Instead of fleeing, they decided to stay there and defend Ukraine.
And they're famous people.
They are famous
in their
people
country,
too.
they're famous people.
Yeah.
and they're fighting. Like they're not leaving their country.
That's very noble of them.
And I actually
That
find that Ukraine is a very patriotic country.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they want nothing to do with Russia, and they're gonna they're literally fighting.
Yeah, because like they've been dealing with Russia for a very long time. They've been
Yeah,
trying
this
to
this
set their
hasn't been
own
the beginning
independent-
of it. It's been going on for a while, right?
Yeah,
It's just,
so
like,
it all
little things.
happened since in 1991 when the Soviet Union they demolished,
Yeah.
and then recently in 2014 Russia attacked the not the capital, but I think it's called like Crimea or something like that. It's a place in Ukraine, and since then they've been going at it, and then just now recently they're
Yeah, it was like something like set off Russia, and then they just started. Like Putin was like, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm gonna start doing this now. And I heard that he was denying that he was doing this as well.
Who? Putin?
Like, yeah, Putin. Like, oh, we're not doing this. Like, we're actually doing something else. Like, no, it's all the evidence is online. You can see it
Yeah.
on every news outlet and every social media platform.
So with this, what Putin really wants to do is he wants to kill the president of Ukraine right now, Zelensky. He's like the number one target, and his
Why does he
family,
want to do that though?
because he wants to put a new president.
Reinstate.
He wants to
Zelensky?
reinstate. There's this thingy.
Or reinstate.
Two presidents before him. His name is Yankovich. He was charged for treason in Ukraine, but he fled to Russia. And
Wasn't he pro-Russian too?
he was pro-Russian.
So that's why Putin wants that.
Putin wants to establish.
He wants an ally in
He-
Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, that's what he wants to do with every other Europe, Eastern Europe country.
That's like really close by now.
So
Mhm.
like places like Poland too, right?
Poland.
Sweden.
But then the thing is that this could cause World War III because
Yeah, because
Poland-
if he goes hungry for other stuff, there's U.S. troops on the borders of Ukraine and stuff like that, right?
yeah, and all these countries like Poland, they're part of NATO, and NATO is
Is also involved in U.S.
is involved with the U.S. and those big countries like Canada, UK, and if that was to happen,
So that's why a lot of people are thinking that the World War III is gonna start because they're just thinking that Putin's gonna
keep invading into other
yeah.
countries.
But the thing is, Ukraine is actually helping preventing the World War
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure Russia or Putin expected to be.
They just
fully
expected to
into-
wipe out
Yeah,
Ukraine
they
quick.
fully expected to
Yeah,
be
'cause,
into
like,
Ukraine.
He thinks like it's a small country. I could just take it out with a blink of an eye, but not really. They're standing up.
And then another like really sad thing is that Putin is committing a lot of war crimes.
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all saw on social media where there's this tank who runs this civilian car, and civilians like from Ukrainian people they run and they go try to rescue the person that got ran over by a tank, and it's an old lady,
Aw.
and it was like so messed up.
Because like a lot of
It's
Ukrainians are
not.
leaving.
Yeah, it's not the
They're taking
like
refuge.
civilians shouldn't be involved in the war. It should just be like.
But they weren't trying. Like that lady was just going on her way, and then the tank just like crossed lanes and just ran her over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
like with social media, it's showing like the disgusting part of war. Because like previous wars, you don't really know all the facts. It was just written and it was taking a few pictures because they didn't have the technology that we had.
Mm.
So I feel like it's better now to see all this and to put them like, hey, you did this, and they have to take accountability.
Yeah.
And then what's it called? Another war crime they committed was that they bombed this cancer research center for kids, and they killed.
Russia.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They killed a kid, and like I think they injured like two. And they're like they don't care like where they're shooting. They're just shooting at random places where like civilians could be.
Yeah, and it was like the main city, one of the biggest cities in Ukraine.
Yeah. And then right now I'm pretty sure they had seized up the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, and I feel like at any moment Ukraine is gonna just lose this.
From what I've seen is that Kiev actually, or some places in Ukraine close to Russia, they actually got help because some people in Ukraine are actually Russian. Like some people living along the closer parts of Russia, the Russians just sort of waltz in there.
That's the thing. These Russians, they don't even want to fight because the Russian and Ukraine, I mean, at some point they were all like a whole.
They're
And
together.
yeah, and it's like they're fighting their own people. The only person that's making them go against each other is Putin.
Yeah.
It's a lunatic.
Yeah, because like I know a very big public figure. I think it was the president. He did a 9-minute speech talking about like how we don't really fight, we don't really want to fight, and I know Russians don't really want to fight. So please hear my message, even though it's not going to be aired in Russia at all, because they're like filtrating all like anything that goes into Russia right now. But he was just hoping that they would hear his message and try to help them.
Yeah, and then another like very cool thing that I found about the President Zelensky was that when they said, "Do you want us to pick you up and bring you to safety?" So like, now we don't need no help, we don't need no money, we just need ammunition.
Oh.
He said, "No, I just want to fight," and I was like, "Oh, whoa, okay."
Yeah, that's another thing that I find kind of interesting. Ukraine's on its own.
Yeah.
I thought that I really thought until I did a little research. I thought that USA was fighting,
No.
like we are fighting Russia
No,
right
we're
now.
not
But
They just accepted refugees. Like if they wanted to come over,
the
US
US
was allowing
the
it.
USA troops that have been
Yeah.
deployed, they're on the borders of Ukraine, right? They're not in Ukraine.
They're by in the borders of Poland.
Yeah, they're not helping. So Ukraine is not basically. They are on their own.
They're on their own.
I
And
feel like they aren't able to help because if they do help, it'll cause like more like problems.
yeah,
with-
because
I mean,
didn't Putin, he said that if USA gets involved, it could. Oh, I forgot what he said. But
He said, and I'm pretty sure he said something like, "If you interfere with what we're doing, you're gonna see consequences that
Yeah.
you've never seen before."
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, I could expect anything from Putin.
Yeah.
And-
No, because it could, if we do get involved into Ukraine, it could result in stuff like it could actually result in a world war.
Yeah.
like it's so unnecessary because we don't need a war and no one wants
Yeah.
war. Like Ukraine continues to say that we want peace, we don't want to start anything.
And the only thing that's happening right now is Biden, he's announced that he's imposing bans on Russia, right?
Yeah.
So, but those bans, it's like he said that we won't be accepting like trade from them
Yeah. I mean, that's why the oil prices are gonna go up.
and gas
Because-
prices too, right?
Yeah, because Russia is one of the biggest exporters of petroleum in the world.
So in reality, it's not really hurting Russia that we stop supporting them. It's really just gonna hurt us.
I feel
like
like
here in the
I feel like
US.
that's the only way it'll hurt us.
Yeah, because
and,
like we have the privilege just to see and watch it and
Yeah.
try to support.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll hurt us like really bad. Just maybe economically, but like just in the petroleum area. But overall, I don't think we're in any danger. As
No,
long as-
at the moment, no.
Yeah,
But
as long as-
I think that as of right now,
Mhm.
Ukraine is really preventing the world war from happening, because I think that Putin is gonna wanna, after taking Ukraine,
Mhm.
he's gonna wanna expand
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
keep going on to more countries like Poland and Sweden, right?
yeah, because he's a very power hungry man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he wants what he wants.
so once taking Ukraine, I'm sure he wanted to keep going, or I'm sure he would want to keep going. But Ukraine is fending off and on its own, and it's actually Ukraine is actually working.
Mhm.
Like they're actually doing good right now, and they're sort of preventing Russia from fully taking over.
Yeah, but I feel like the sad thing about war, especially right now, because you can actually see it, is that Ukraine has stopped letting men from 18 and older go like to
Eight-
other countries.
18 to 60-year-olds.
Yeah,
If you're from that range, you have to fight.
yeah, they're like stopping him. Like you have to help
Yeah,
us.
that's a sad thing that I'm sure a lot of like teenagers, they just want to leave. They don't want to be involved
Yeah.
in this.
Like it's not their fault. Like it's just a.
I mean, there's been videos of a father leaving his daughter and his
Oh, yeah.
wife.
That
and
one made me cry. I was like, no, that's my wife. I'm so
And-
sorry.
I just find that really sad because this would have never happened if someone like Putin would have been so hungry to have power, and it's so dumb because Ukraine already has its independence. It's not doing anything to Russia.
That's the thing. Putin he's a dictator.
Yeah.
He's stayed president for a while, and I'm sure he's planned to do this for a while. He's sort of thought like, how can I sort of expand on my presidency, or how can I expand on stuff that I have planned or I'm doing? How can I make Russia better?
Yeah. one thing that I'm like kind of happy for is that right now the Russian currency has dropped like really, really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think I heard before that it dropped 42% of its value.
Oh.
Dang, that's
So-
a lot.
So I hope right now Putin is like, wow, I made a huge mistake of invading this country because
Yeah, and
it's
it's
just
not-
gonna
it's
get
not-
worse for him.
It's not working right now too, because Ukraine is they haven't gone far, or they have gone like kind of far, but they haven't fully invaded Ukraine.
Mhm.
Like they haven't taken it.
Yeah, they're still on the border, still trying to get in, but I don't feel like they will for some time. Also, like, I think he will never show it. Like, Putin will never show that how everything, the things he's doing is affecting his country.
No,
No.
he's gonna
He doesn't-
try to keep that.
He doesn't want to
Um,
look weak.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna try to hide that.
Also, I heard about the world nations and how they were talking about it, and how this one country in Africa, I think,
Mm-hmm.
the president had talked about how he said that even though these stuff keep happening, like bad people have high positions, you can see in history that people that are good will always prevail against the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad will always fall down, even if it takes a while.
Yeah, even if I think that in history we've learned that even like dictators and bad people, they have taken over and bad stuff has happened, but in the end they all fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not successful.
Well, that's it for us. And for next segment, we're going to have a new host and a special new guest, so tune in for that. Bye. Good, wasn't it? Well, there's more to come. We'll be right back after this short break. This is KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hey guys, welcome back to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm your host, Prodigy, and today I'm here with...
Billy.
And Onion. So like Billy, Oz, and Mr. Penguin mentioned in our last segment, we do have a very special guest. This is Mr. De Leon, our environmental science teacher. He teaches mostly juniors and seniors. So would you like to give us a little introduction?
Good morning, glad to be here. My name is Patrick DeLeon and I teach AP Environmental Science, just like she mentioned. And this is my first year here at Townview, but I've been teaching for about 15 years.
Okay, so, getting into it. So, what was your dream job as a kid?
Well, I actually took several paths. I mean, originally I wanted to be a field biologist, but then somewhere along the line I realized that I really like teaching. So.
I know you mentioned high school and our accidental segment that we didn't actually record. So can you say that again for us about how you didn't like high school?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I actually hated high school because it was just not a good experience. Okay, but I mean, my friends and actually two teachers really helped me out a lot. So one was my biology teacher, which I believe we'll speak to in a second. And the other was, ironically, my religion teacher.
And then after high school, where did you go to college?
Okay, so immediately after high school, I got accepted to the University of Texas at Arlington, and I double majored in biology and psychology, and right now I'm still working on my master's degree in environmental science, and that's at the University of Houston.
Okay, so at what point in your life did you realize that teaching environmental science was the way to go?
Okay, so again, like I said, I never imagined myself being a teacher, given my high school experience. But once I got into student teaching at UTA, I realized that I really like connecting with younger people and just trying to influence them.
So moving on from the more general questions, we noticed all your comic references in the classroom. You have a couple posters. So we're just wondering if you picked DC or Marvel.
I think they're both good. Marvel was always my favorite growing up, but as I got older, I'm switching more to DC because I think it's more mature, I guess you would say.
And then who would be your favorite comic character in those and why?
Right now, I'm a huge fan of Superman and Batman.
How come?
Because I just think they're dichotomous, so just like two opposite ends of the spectrum. But they're both pretty awesome in their own ways.
I mean, what do you think about the Superman and Batman movie that was like 2013 around there?
Yeah. At first, I really didn't like it, but I've seen it like 1,000 times. But the more I watch it, there's little details in it that really have gotten me to kind of just grew my appreciation.
Okay. And like, if you had to pick, which one would be like your favorite, Superman or Batman?
Probably Superman.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pick Superman
Hence
too.
my tattoo.
Oh, well, talking
Well, I
about...
have both, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, talking about tattoos, I was wondering, like, what are the meanings behind, some of those that you have on?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I have about, I think, 21 tattoos. So some of them are related to science. So I got the evolutionary tree of life, so both Darwin and based on genetics. I have a neuron tattoo, serenity, because I would like peace in the world. Charles Darwin signature, the Punisher, because he's awesome also.
Yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks, because that's where I grew up. DNA, ATP, because I majored in biology, I love it. And I have Superman, Batman, then I have one of my favorite bands on the back, and another one here, actually. So, I have too many tattoos.
I actually find that really cool, some tattoos, to, show meaning behind it, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And then speaking of, what is your favorite musical artist?
Bad Religion. You guys probably have not heard of them because they're from like the 80s and 90s, but it's a punk rock band, and they are, in my opinion, awesome because their lead singer is actually a PhD in evolutionary biology. So when he's not on tour or recording, he's actually teaching at Cornell University.
Oh, so he does both music and teaching.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And research.
Wow.
So their lyrics are relevant, and a lot of it's based on science.
Mm. Oh, well, talking about science, is there like any certain subject in environmental science that you like to teach the most, or that you enjoy?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it. But my passion is in ecology and evolution.
Oh, okay. So evolution of life. Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
Okay, so I know we talked about population in your class. I was listening. See, I listened.
Well, thank you.
We were talking about population, and we discussed of how like the world is overpopulated and how we're damaging the earth so much. So we were just wondering if you think we need to have like a little Thanos moment.
Okay, so yes, right now our population on the planet is about 7.87 billion people. Most scientists think that living the way we are right now without change, we can support about 3 to 4 billion people with little environmental damage. No, I don't think we need to wipe out half the population. I just think we need to start living more sustainably and stop reproducing so much.
So like, what would you say are some ways, a little advice how we can live more sustainably?
Okay, definitely recycle, buy more fuel-efficient cars, public transportation, walk, ride your bike, eat less meat, which I'm guilty of. I mean, so, change to more energy-efficient appliances. So change your light bulbs, change, again, like your refrigerator. If you're not in a room, turn the lights off, turn your TV off if you're not watching it, and unplug your cell phone chargers.
Would you recommend that we switch to electric cars, or would keep regular cars?
Personally, I think electric cars are the future, but I have not jumped on that already because I'm a teacher and I can't afford them.
They're actually really like they're cheaper than like regular cars. Like a Tesla right now is going on for like 30,000.
Yes,
That's
so
usually what a regular car goes for.
yeah, that is the Model 3 for Tesla,
Mhm.
and it is very comparable to any new car. But yeah, I mean, I still drive my gas-powered Mazda, so I'm guilty again.
But then again, I feel like either way, if we do move to electric cars, we'll still be using electricity. Which what do we need? Uranium. We need. For,
No, it's mostly copper and some other rare metals on this planet
that we would have to dig
that
up.
we still have to mine to get. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of environmental costs. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, remember what I said in class is that the hard part is developing technology, but once we have it, it only improves and it gets cheaper and more available. So I think by the time you guys are my age, it'll be mostly electric.
And then, like, speaking of renewable energy, like, which kinds do you think, like, we should invest the most in? Like, what's your favorite renewable energy, I guess, if that makes sense?
So personally, I think that solar and wind are going to be major players in the future, especially solar, because I mean, again, the sun's not going anywhere, and it's always sunny somewhere. So
Okay. I guess it's like a kind of personal question, but do you find it like hard to separate your life here and then your personal life?
it can be difficult because, especially with teaching seniors. I mean, I spend the entire school year building relationships, and then just speaking of Thanos, they're gone. Okay, so, but I still keep in touch with a lot of my students, so, or past students, I should say.
And speaking of, like, is there any piece of advice from your childhood from, like, a teacher or anybody really that you still live by today?
Just like I've told you guys pretty much every day, every one of us was born with our own personal set of skills. Figure out what those are and utilize them to make the change you want to see in the world. Because again, you guys are the future.
So that being said, what impact do you want to leave on your students, like us, for example?
Just be aware of the problems and figure out what you can do to help leave this planet in a little better shape than we found it, because we inherited the mistakes of our ancestors, but we can work for change. So I hope you guys voted yesterday.
I'm not 18.
I'm not 18.
Okay, well, never mind.
Another question is, how did your parents, get you like involved in this, science world? 'Cause, you did mention that your dad is like a scientist.
No, my dad is he just retired, but he is a doctor.
A doctor, okay.
Okay, so, and my mom is actually a nurse, and they met at the hospital. Not to go into too much detail. Okay, but I mean, my dad really did have a lot of influence on me because he was an illegal immigrant to Mexico. I mean, from Mexico. But he became a United States citizen. He lived in East LA, very poor area. But he worked really hard. He graduated top of his class in high school. Princeton University actually recruited him. Then he went to medical school. Then he became a doctor. And I mean, he was the first one in his family to go to college. And now, out of his 4 children, all of us have gone to college. So my brother worked in IT. I'm a teacher. My little sister's a teacher. Then my other littlest sister, she's a doctor. So in one generation, you could turn it all around just through education.
Wait, out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking.
Yes.
What grades do your siblings teach?
Okay, one of my sisters, who is a teacher, she teaches special ed for, I think it's Weatherford ISD. But, so it's basically all elementary school, just any special needs child is what she works with.
Okay, guys, so that has been our time. Thank you for listening. Make sure to follow us on our social medias on Facebook at KSBM Radio, on Twitter at KSBM Radio_TVT, on Instagram and TikTok at KSBMradio.tvt. Thank you for listening.
Don't you ever leave me, and don't you ever go.
We'll never really leave you. We'll be back same time, same place next week.